I've been installing solar systems for 40 years. It's a tried and true technology. I've been off-grid for 35 years. I bought my battery in 1995. My batteries are now 23 years old. Lead-acid batteries have a history of 159 years. There is no battery. Lead-acid is truly the green battery. There is no lithium, no other battery that's made right now has a cradle-to-cradle profile that lead-acid does. Bought my batteries in 1995, and my batteries are now 23 years old, and I've lived off-grid for 35 years. I have over 20,000 systems installed off-grid on 3 continents, and my batteries are holding up very well. My profile is, I sized them right. During the winter time, I draw them down more, about 50% because of less sun. I have solar and wind on my ranch. I've got a 20-acre ranch. And my batteries go between depth of discharge 50% in the winter, and they go back up to float every day. So if you keep a lead-acid battery in that profile, and also the 20-hour rating. 20-hour rating is very important. If I dumped my batteries in 5 hours, I wouldn't have the lifetime that I have on them now. So depth of discharge is very important. If you keep it in that sweet spot of that 20-hour rating, you'll get a very long life. There's no silver bullet in energy storage. When people come to me, I get it every day. Someone calls me on the phone and says, I want to put in an off-grid system. I want to live off-grid. Tell me what it's going to cost. The next thing I say to them is, how big of a family do you have? What are you going to do with your off-grid installation? Are you going to build an energy efficient house? What is your profile you have, whether it is lead acid or lithium? You have to size it for your loads. If you don't size it for your loads, you're going to kill your battery. There truly is no silver bullet. Besides being an installer of solar, I'm a master electrician. I'm also a forensic fire, flood, and explosion expert in the area of electricity. And I also I have 4 service centers in the U.S. for Snyder Electric and Xantrex in Carmichael, California, San Diego, Phoenix, and also in Hutchinson, Kansas. So we get a wide array of people coming to us with different problems and battery issues and load issues. The first thing you have to do is you have to figure out your load profile and size your battery. Being a Snyder Electric authorized service center, I service the XW product and the Connect XW series, and they have a matching partnership on lithium. So I've been out to many lithium installations. One of the biggest issues, as well as lead acid, with the lithium is temperature. You have to keep your batteries cool. You have to be operating within the profile of your battery. If you're not operating in the profile of your battery, you're going to burn it up. Recently, just last week, I went out to a dental office that added lithium batteries, and they wanted to use the battery for peak shaving, working okay for peak shaving, but they also wanted to use it for backup. As soon as they had an outage, that battery crashed within 30 minutes and shut down. What did they do wrong? They did not size the system robust enough to be able to carry the loads. What is he carrying? He's carrying about 25 kilowatts per hour. He's got an air conditioner. He has all his computers, dental drills, compressor, all these sort of things. And peak shaving, no problem. Lithium has a place in the industry. There's no doubt about it. Electric cars working great, peak shaving working great. But as far as battery backup, you're going to have to put a lot more size. And why aren't they putting more size? It costs a lot of money. Lead acid is the perfect profile for that, especially AGM. Have AGM batteries out in a lot of applications where we're doing 15, 20% depth of discharge. We take care of the Ralph's supermarket family here. They have a 1,200-acre ranch. They've got our old Trace inverter in there and have a bank of AGM batteries. That battery bank, we just changed it out about 3 months ago, 17 years old. Not an imagined lifetime, real life. I've got another one, Jeremy McGrath, the motocross champ. We've got Unity batteries on his ranch, and those batteries just turned 18 years old, and they're operated in their sweet spot. You operate lead acid in the sweet spot, we know you can get a long life out of it. You get a very long life out of it. So, temperature, lead acid will die if you get it too hot. It won't operate right, you won't get your lifetime. Lithium, same thing. Loads, gotta size it for your loads. Don't size it for your loads, it's curtains, no matter what battery you have. I was just talking with Robin, Midnight Solar. We have a lot of the classics out on our off-grid installations. The guy's got the classics in the garage, have the batteries outside, and what's he do? Closes up his garage in the afternoon, didn't add the ventilation fans he was told to add, and the Midnight Solar goes into thermal overload. I went out there and saw the guy yesterday and said, hey, if you don't do maintenance on both your batteries, went out, looked at the batteries, fortunately caught the batteries, they were just almost down to the plates on watering. Not doing his watering on a regular basis, and he's not taking care of his inverter or charge controllers. If you thermal the inverter and charge controllers, you won't charge the battery's going to die, it's not going to work. These are integrated systems. You have to be sure that all the parts are integrated and working together. You can't overheat your charge controller, can't overheat your inverter, can't overheat your batteries. So it's just common sense. And if you put it in a 120-degree box, your lithium battery is going to shut down on thermal overload, and your crown battery or whoever, a lead acid battery is going to die. Okay? No magic here. Lifespan. We know from long experience, AGM and wet cells, you can get a long life out of them. I'm doing a life test on mine. I go away for long periods of time. We do installations in Africa and also in the Middle East and other places. And I do a lot of consulting. I have a manager that manages my ranch. Is he 100% perfect? No, he isn't. Sometimes the batteries get discharged completely, but it doesn't happen very often. Lead acid is a forgiving technology. So once in a while, once or twice a year, if you discharge it, you're okay. But you can't dry out those cells. You dry out those cells on lead acid, you're pretty much curtains. You have to throw away, recycle that battery. As far as lifetime is concerned, you can hit those magic numbers of 20, 25 years. You know, I'm proving it myself. This afternoon you come at 3:30 and get free beer. They have a birthday party for my 23-year-old batteries. So, as far as lithium is concerned, it is an experimental technology. I own lithium stock. I believe in lithium for a purpose. Peak shaving, small batteries, cell phones would be impossible. You'd have a hip-sized battery to supply that cell phone. So lithium is a lightweight, good technology. It's going to be here for the long run, but is it good for critical loads and for battery backup? I don't think so, not yet. Not unless you add a lot of it, it's too expensive. Peak shaving, it's a good match. Lead acid, AGMs have a sweet spot. What you do, if you want to have a lot of storage in a maintenance-free battery, you oversize the system. The sweet spot on AGMs on a maintenance-free battery is 15 to 20%. On lithium ion, you can go 70% depth of discharge, but you got to match your loads. If you have too much load, you're going to discharge it very quickly, and you're not going to get any amount of backup time unless you just size it for computers or laptops or charging your cell phone. And if you got a family and a home, when you need your battery backup, you need your battery backup. You know, why do we put it in if it's not going to work? So 100% depth of discharge is possible on lead acid batteries. We don't recommend it. In a pinch, I tell people, you know, that if you're desperate, your generator's down, take it down to 20%. You're not going to hurt it if you do that 2 or 3 times a year. If you crash a lithium ion battery, take it down to 100% or 70, 80% quickly. It's going to overheat and fail on you. It has a charge profile. It has a discharge profile. Out of your profile, out of your battery. That's simple. Safety matters. Lead acid's been around for 100 plus years. Lithium ion. In my fire, flood, and explosion work, I've been out on 5 lithium fires. We also do RVs and boats. We take care of my authorized service centers. We take care of everything from a kilowatt up to 250 kilowatts. So we have seen fires, and we want safe installations. When I go out and look at the lithium installations, they're sitting in the sunlight or in a 90-degree container. I shut them down. I tell them, when you get your air conditioning set up and are ready to treat the battery properly, you can turn it back on. But I'm going to shut it down and I'm going to red tag. How much does it cost? Lead acid has been around a long time. You're looking at about $65 a kilowatt for flooded and about $120 for AGM. And you're looking at about 10 times that, about $600 a kilowatt for lithium ion. So you make the choice on your system. We know that lead acid is a very reliable technology and a safe technology. The last lead acid fire that I went out on was about 24, 25 years ago, and it really wasn't the fault of the batteries. They had a loose cable. It was in a battery room that was bare wood studs, caught the building on fire. Can't blame that on the batteries. So, let's see. No perfect battery. Lithium's coming along. It's got its purpose. It's got its niche. Lead acid. Lead is not dead, not by any means. There's no doubt about that. It's going to be around for a long time to come. And right now, it is the reliable battery of choice for off-grid and for critical loads. So, if you have any questions?
Hey, quick question about the warranty on these lead acid batteries.
Yes.
What are how long do you warranty them for?
Right now, the large steel case batteries for Crown are 5-year, and the AGM is 2-year.
We looked at other battery technologies. There's a saltwater technology and an iron copper.
Yep.
Can you comment on those?
Actually, I've been involved in R&D on about 7 different types of batteries, potassium flow, and a number of the other emerging technologies. I think there's a lot of promise in all of these batteries. I'm fairly agnostic, and we're looking for long life, and we're looking for reliability. And lead acid has brought that, has maintained that in our industry. If you maintain an AGM or a lead acid in the same kind of profile that I've maintained it, and believe me, my ranch hands haven't been anal about it. When I'm away, they screw up just like other people. You just have to follow some critical rules about keeping those plates wetted at least water over the plate, and also you have to manage your discharge.
My name is John. I'm from Sun Production. Is there a lower temperature limit to safely operate lead acid and AGM batteries? And do you have to keep the battery maintained all the way up to the edge of the case, or just over the plates?
As far as, yes, freezing is a real issue. Tony was actually out to an installation. We for 7 years, I did projects on the Colorado Plateau, the Navajo and Hopi tribe. I lived with the natives up there and worked with them, trained them to maintain the systems that we installed. And we used Outback inverters, we used midnight solar charge controllers, and we used Crown batteries. And problem up there is I actually had to design a space to put them in. What I did is I have a lot of inventions too. I invented a hot air panel, solar panel. It's a lot of sunlight up there. So I invented a hot air solar panel that we kept the room warm in. But all winter long, we keep that room pretty nice, about 55, 60 degrees, even when it gets 25, 30 below zero outside. And we've got a water tank inside that room too. And we've got a super insulation that was developed by NASA by a friend of mine that we distribute and build our battery rooms with. I have a small battery solution for L16s that are good for freezing areas called the thermal block, which is also made with the same insulation. So, in other words, you can't freeze lead acid batteries. If you keep them warm, you can get them down to in the high 50s, but no freezing. AGMs will go a little lower.